Hey everybody, welcome to Talking Poop, the podcast where we talk about the movies, music, and media that make us who we are. I'm your host, Jason Bromley, and with me today is a very special guest, Bryan the Machine Gun.
I didn't know we settled on that machine gun thing.
I settled on it.
Okay.
So it's happening.
All right, well, as long as I guess it just stays here on the Talking Poop podcast and our thousands, if not millions of listeners.
It's also going to bleed into real life. Like, you are now Bryan the Machine Gun. Like, when we go to the mall and stuff.
We do go to the mall a lot together.
Go to the food court and have an Orange Julius. Like, it's no big deal. It's not gay.
It's not gay.
So what if we hold hands? Two dudes can go to the mall and hold hands and share an Orange Julius with one straw.
If that makes you uncomfortable, you have the problem.
You have the problem if two guys are holding hands, two straight guys are holding hands at the mall, playing footsie on the wall while they have an Orange Julius with one straw.
What's un-American about that?
What's un-American about that? What's weird about that?
We went off the rails quick.
Well, that'll happen because we just came back from virtual motherfucking reality, and now we're back in reality to talk about virtual motherfucking reality. So is that the red pill or the blue pill?
Oh, I can't remember which one does what.
I don't either, but I know I would just take them both.
I know that was actually that's my first time doing VR. That was pretty crazy.
And that's what we're here to talk about on this week's edition of Talking Poop, is Bryan's first virgin experience into virtual reality.
Had my cherry popped.
Pop that cherry and pop it good.
I never thought I'd get to say that again.
Do you lose sleep at night? Grab your pillow tight. Do you struggle to find why Han and Luke had to die? Are you just a mess? Does Hollywood leave you stressed? Because their sequels are more important than fan requests. Hold on to your chair, cause Talking Poop takes you there. You might have to change into some new underwear. Talking Poop.
Bryan, we just got back from virtual reality, the two of us. I recently got virtual reality for Christmas because you are pretty much a poor kid. You would never be the one
right.
to get the new technology.
Yeah,
but
no, I'm a teacher, so
yeah, you're on a teacher's budget. It's
pretty cool that I got a roof over my head right now. I'm pretty happy about that.
Yeah, if you have a full belly right now, you should consider yourself lucky.
Yeah, seriously. I got a lot of gift cards from the students at Christmas. That helped.
Oh, that was sweet.
Yeah.
I never gave my teacher a gift card. Is that a thing you were supposed to do?
I never got my teacher a gift either. My dad was a teacher, so it's like, I don't know. Yeah, mostly Starbucks, and I don't really go there, so that's...
So you had to give them to your wife?
Pretty much, yeah.
When I was a pool guy, I got a bunch of Starbucks gift cards too, and I was like, what the motherfuck am I going to do with these? I don't drink coffee. I got a bottle of really nice wine. I don't drink wine, really.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
More of a Coors Light kind of guy.
Those goddamn assholes keep giving us free stuff, you know?
Speaking of which, I've been drinking all night, and so this episode is brought to you by Coors Light.
Coors Light, give us money.
Give us money. Coors Light, if the mountains aren't blue, you're not going to screw.
My favorite thing now about beer commercials, especially Coors Light, is like, there's no more like, it tastes good, or like, this is our recipe, and this is why you should choose. It's just like, it's cold. It's got a spiral in it, and it's cold activated and shit. It's like, yeah, well, of course, all of it tastes better when it's cold, you know?
It really does.
I don't know. Car commercials don't say anything about cars. They don't even say the price anymore.
Yeah.
It's like, look, you'll be a good family person. Look at you dropping her off at college in this car.
And then they're like, drive responsibly.
Yeah.
And drinking is like, drink responsibly.
Yeah. As we shove it down your throat.
Yeah. When did America go to hell? Back in the day, in the 80s, the commercials were like, buy a Ford, you'll get pussy.
I don't know. I feel like the advertising people have always been pretty good about staying one step ahead, being real subtle. Now what I hate is when you're watching a video online and the ad pops up in the middle. And it's like, video will return in 15 seconds. You're like, hey, I just needed the 3-minute tutorial on, how to fucking bake chicken, but now I'm watching this ad about Grammarly. Cool, thank you. What I like to do is I mark every ad. I'll just have like a day where I just mark every ad as offensive.
Right.
It's just offensive, and then it's like they don't know what to throw at you for ads. So
right.
That plus a VPN, a virtual private network on my computer, so I get ads for nothing to do with me. And it's good to know. You're like, all right, good, they're not on to me.
Yeah, but then you wind up getting ads for like vaginal like protection.
They just know, like, he's a male just fucking throw dude stuff at him. So I get a lot of truck ads, and I get a lot of erectile dysfunction ads, and like the stuff that gets sent to your home, and it's like those and the beer. And it's funny because I don't drink, and I get a lot of beer ads.
Right.
So it's like to have 3 things I really don't need right now, and I get bombarded with them.
Hey, we're here today to talk about
I don't remember this in the VR headset.
PlayStation virtual reality. Now, I've got to put it out there on Jump Street that there are other VR systems that I've heard are even better, like the Oculus Rift.
Is that the one where you put your phone in it?
No.
No.
There's some that you can plug into your PC.
Okay.
I think one's called the Oculus and one's called the Rift, and I just made one system out of it and called it the Oculus Rift.
Good call.
But I think that was wrong. The PlayStation VR, the PlayStation PSVR, is the first one that is really like super affordable and one that you can play at home.
More mainstream.
Definitely more mainstream. It's the most mainstream. You don't need a cell phone and you don't need a fancy PC to run it. And at Christmas time, when it first came out, the price point was a little high. It was $400.
Oof.
Yeah, that's a little rough for a teacher's salary or a truck driver's salary. Yeah. So while I thought it was a cool thing, I was like, no, can't afford it. Black Friday this year, 2018, they dropped it $100 and it was $299. And that came with a game, the camera, and the headset.
See, I have a problem with having the camera in my living room.
That is a big concern, actually, of mine, too, is that, and this is the thing that PlayStation always had over the Xbox, was that Xbox has a camera and it has to be turned on at all times.
Right.
The PlayStation does not come with a camera, the PlayStation 4.
Right.
And so it didn't have that feature. But now, if you want to use the PlayStation headset, you have to have the camera plugged in, and in theory, anybody can look into your living room at any time.
It's always on.
Yeah, it's always on,
Yeah.
which is super creepy. And also, without me doing anything, I just plugged it in. Now, when I walk in, if my TV's on, it recognizes my face and goes straight to my PlayStation,
Ooh,
which is super creepy.
that is weird.
Yeah.
It's like, I want to live in that world where you have like the super helpful AI that does everything for you.
Exactly.
I just don't like being in that transition period of like, this is not secure yet.
If you give them an inch, they're going to take a mile.
Yeah.
Like, at first, I'm just here to play video games. Next thing you know, Donald Trump is looking at me bone my wife on my couch.
Yeah, for sure. He's way into that.
Mostly all he's seeing is my ass.
The taint area.
Yeah, the taintle.
It's a lot of that ball view.
It's mostly just balls like going toward the screen and then back away and toward the screen. And if he's got a VR headset on, wow, what a view he's getting. Let me tell you. So
You won't even find me with like one of those Alexas in my house. And it's the smartphone. I've debated going away from it so many times because I know it listens to me.
So that's the thing, is that the smartphone, people say like, oh no, it's fine, it's no big deal. But I listen to a lot of true crime podcasts, and not only do they know like where the dead people are now because their cell phone pings off of all the different cell phone towers, so they can track you with it, but also they know everything that you Google.
Yeah.
So don't ever Google like, what does a drowned girl look like?
Oh yeah,
Because
no, that's a real problem as a writer.
Yeah.
It's like you Google, you're like, can you really kill someone with like a pillow over their face? And then you like one day, you just kind of look at your search history, because I'm way into serial killers and I would love to write some. And I looked at my search history and I was like, oh fuck.
Well, so what happened to me was like, I listen to all these true crime podcasts. So then they're talking about these people. I'm like, well, what does this girl look like? Would I want to kidnap, murder, and rape her? So I have to like look at her pictures. And so I look up this person, and then like, I'm like, all right. So it shows me pictures, like the wanted pictures. Yeah. But I'm like, I've got to see the dead body.
Right.
So then I got to put in her name plus dead or drowned or murdered.
Right.
To bring up the thing. And then not only brings up pictures of her dead and murdered, but like tons of dead and murdered people.
Of course.
So yeah.
Then you start getting ads for murdered people.
Right. Exactly. And that's like ads for like, would you like to murder someone?
Right.
Yeah. And so it's a whole huge problem. So then I'm watching Making a Murderer season 2.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Ooh. And they bring up this kid's computer, and they're like, this kid looked up like dead and strangled bitches.
Yeah.
Like stuff broke through the asshole. And it was all on his computer, and they're like, oh, look at all these computer things that he looked up. These are all things he Googled. He's a sicko. What if somebody gets murdered around my house and then they pull up my history and they see all these things, not only gross like murder stuff, but they're gonna see things like how to jack off a goat,
Right.
like is it weird to stick your dick in a dolphin's blowhole?
Like, it used to be the weirdest like thing you could do as a dude was go to like a donkey show, and you'd be like, "Oh man,
yeah,
I've
and
seen
you're like,
some
oh,
weird
I've seen some
shit."
stuff.
And now you can
Now
just
a
Google
donkey show
anything
is
way
just-
more hardcore than that, and you're just like,
Exactly.
oh. And the government and Google, they all know you Googled it.
Right, yeah.
So-
You instantly put you on like a watch list.
Yeah.
And then not only now can they look at your history, but they can now just turn on your PlayStation camera and actually see what you're doing in your living room at all times.
Yeah. So you see, my phone has a front cover on it, cover the camera on the front.
Right.
My computer has a cover on it. I don't know. Call me paranoid, but
I know, and
see
I
most
should be
people
more
operate
paranoid.
now.
I 100% believe that they're watching. But yet, you see in my computer, there's no tape over the camera.
I think they're just data hungry. They just compile all this data. They don't know what they're gonna do with it, but
They'll have it if they need it.
yeah. One day I was having a conversation with a friend. He wanted to start up a food truck business, and I've never Googled anything or texted anything or talked on the phone about food trucks at all. They're not my thing. And we had a face-to-face conversation about his new business. He wanted to do food trucks, macaroni and cheese, all this shit. That day, I start getting Facebook ads for how to start up a food truck. Not just
Right.
food trucks.
Yeah.
How to start up a food truck.
Yeah.
How to get going in that. And then later in the day, Kraft mac and cheese. And
Yeah.
I was just like,
Yep.
what the fuck, man? Like, this is weird.
Yeah.
And I think I threw my phone in a drawer for a while, and I was like, I'm just going to go back to flip phones. I was like, fuck this.
And that's
then
the thing, like-
Later, I was like, wait, how old was Freddie Mercury when he died? I need my phone. Fucking. And I was just like, God damn it, man. I love the research factor on
I
this.
know, it's super convenient, but they're going to get us through convenience.
Yeah.
And it's a scary, scary thing. But it's worth it to be able to play video games in VR is what I'm trying to get at. So, now Sony is not giving us money. Do you have any Sony money in your pocket right now?
I don't have any money in my pocket.
I don't have any money in my pocket right now either. But, so we're not saying that Sony is the best. We're just saying that we were able to obtain the Sony VR headset, and that is what we are basing our talk on right now about VR.
Honestly, like, I hope Sony's not the best. I hope this stuff gets better.
I do hope the
I
stuff gets
hope
better.
there's
We're going to
cooler
talk
stuff out
about
there.
the limitation of the Sony VR headset, but right now I want to sing its praises. You and me experienced the Sony VR headset about the same time. It was at Comic-Con last year, where the Sony trailer was there at
Right.
Comic-Con. I was
forgot
there a
about
day early, yeah, and they had, so I went in there to play video games, and they had 2 VR headsets set up. You kind of had to like wait in line, and it was a
Yeah,
bummer.
yeah.
So I can see where like a lot of people, it was intimidating, and they wouldn't really
think,
wait
yeah,
for
I
it.
played it for like 5 minutes there, and then I got it. I didn't like having the headset on, being in that trailer full of all the strangers, and
Yeah.
then that lady was, or that, I don't know, girl was there at my elbow, and it just, like, being in that booth and then having the headset on and not being able to hear or see anything, I was
Right.
like, yeah, not so much. I mean, you saw me in the living room. I was like, I feel super vulnerable right now. Like, don't anybody
Yeah.
fuck with me. You know, how many videos have I seen where, like, some dude puts on his VR headset and then his friends, like, punch him right in the balls or something?
Right, and I really wanted to punch you in the balls.
I know.
But
I know.
at the same time, like, we had to have this podcast, and so I didn't want to do anything like punch you in
Next
the balls.
time.
And yeah,
Next time, yeah.
next time your balls are getting did it to,
Just
for sure.
Right in the fucking balls.
Right in the balls. Right up through the taint. Just I encouraged you. I pretty much came up to you at Comic-Con your first day and was like, you got to try this Sony VR
Yeah.
thing. We went straight to it
Yeah.
and did it early in the morning when there wasn't a huge line. Because once you've done it, you can't explain it to somebody else what VR is.
Yeah,
You
it's
kind of have to experience it for
Definitely
yourself.
not like any other video game.
No, it's
Yeah.
totally different. And I think a lot of people have it in their head that like VR, they're like, oh yeah, I get it. You put on the headset and then you're like in this virtual world and you can move around. But Sony is doing this thing with games where it's putting you inside of a game.
Yeah.
You're doing a third person situation. It's not a first person situation always.
Yeah.
There are situations like that, as I showed you.
Yeah.
But then there's also these games where like, and Mouse was the one that we got to try.
That one, yeah, that little problem solving one at Comic-Con was neat.
Yeah, because it made you feel like you were in the forest and you were seeing this little mouse guy doing his little thing. And then I have the robot one where
that was cool.
It's like it's almost like a little,
it's like your little drone
iMac computer running around doing stuff, and you're in the world there with him. So it's a totally different gaming experience. It's
360. Everywhere I looked was just this cool. You know, we were on a beach at first, and you can just look all around you, make that dude go everywhere.
Right.
Instead of just like the pre-planned path. And
like, I found it so crazy, just like seeing the water. You just want to reach down and touch it, you know? For sure. And then it's, you know, and I felt like in those games too, it's like being in your own private, like, Disney ride. Like, if you were inside of, like, Splash Mountain, but you were, like, in a log all by yourself with nobody else around.
Right.
You know?
I hear on the new part of Star Wars, the new Disney Millennium Falcon ride, it was like part VR, part ride.
Right.
Yeah.
I wonder how that's going to work, because they're like, you can drive the Millennium Falcon. Well, there's only like 2 people in the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon.
How long
how are you going to put, how are you going to put like 50 people into an experience?
Right.
But they did a really good job with the Back to the Future ride, where it felt like there weren't a ton of people in the ride with you, and you were going through the experience in the DeLorean, which was very cool. Almost like a precursor to VR. That was like a 3D movie with a ride that moved.
Yeah.
And now we're into this VR where you put on a headset, you put in the headphones, which I just have the headphones that came with the system that are just little plugins. You can get really cool, like 360 headphones and really immerse yourself, and it cancels out the sound in the room.
Yeah.
That for me is a big, like when we tried it out at the store, when the lady would tell me the directions, that would take me out of the experience.
Yeah,
when you could hear stuff from the outside. And unfortunately with the headset that it comes with, it's just like little earbuds that you plug in, so you can hear stuff that's going on in the room around you.
I could hear your son telling me everything was going to be okay.
Right. Exactly. You did seem a little nervous in the undersea adventure.
So the very first one you threw me in, I just stepped outside, smoked a little bit. Then you threw me in the headset, and then you just go down, and all I saw, the title was Shark Encounter.
Right.
And then you're like, cool, put this on. I was like, whoa, wait a second. So then the first thing I noticed in that is that cage was not adequate at all. Like, I'm looking like, man, I've seen Discovery Channel. I know how the cages look. This is bullshit. Like, hey, we're just going to narrow you down to this little hole. Like, okay, cool. I love being in narrow, dark spaces. And that felt pretty real. That was pretty immersive. But like I told you, I'm really worried about the jump factor.
Right.
You know, VR could be a good excuse to get those cheap scares that only get you the first time, you know. But that when they get you, like, I probably would have jumped 10 feet in the air.
Right.
Or something. But
there's a couple horror games out there where they talk about the jump scares, and like the reviewers are actually criticizing it for the fact that it's like, you can't just jump scare us. It's cheap. And yeah, it works really well in this system, but to do it over and over and over again is too much. And that was one of the things with like, so the VR worlds used to come with the system, and that's what we played, where you played the undersea thing. Okay. So VR worlds has an undersea experience. It has the VR luge, which you tried.
I was terrible at that.
The London heist, which
fun.
You got to see.
Yeah, that was neat.
And then there's also a game in there that's kind of like Pong, but instead of side to side, it's out into the room. Okay. So we haven't played. We didn't play that because we just didn't have time. So that is kind of a cool disc to get because it gives you a nice taste of everything that it has to offer. Mm-hmm. And that it doesn't come with the system anymore, unfortunately. But I got it off PlayStation Network for $5. Nice. Definitely worth the $5. Check that out. The system itself comes with the new robot game and the mouse game, which is very cool. And those are 2 gaming experiences that came with it. And it was, I don't know. I felt like those were really cool for like learning what the system has to offer. Yeah. But then I went out and purchased the Batman VR because I was like, I want to be Batman.
I really thought we were going to get to punch people in that one.
The Batman game, I think, is like the greatest. It really shows you what the system can offer, but it really points out its limitations.
Yeah.
And the limitations of it are the way the headset works and the way the camera works is that the camera is recording your head, and then the headset records your eye movement. And so based on your eye movement, that's how come you can watch it without getting sick to your stomach.
Okay.
And that's the thing that a lot of people are worried about. And early VR, that was a big problem, was that because it wasn't tracking your eye movement, it was when you would look around, you'd get a slight blur and you'd get a slight delay. And it was making people sick to their stomachs. But now that they're tracking your eyes, no matter where you look, the screen is following you, just like if you were looking at something in real life.
Okay.
You know? So it tracks everything, but the limitation is that that's all it tracks is your head movement and your eye movement.
I kept
so in
reaching
Batman,
around. I wanted to grab things,
exactly.
even though I knew I didn't have a glove or anything.
In Batman, you see your hands on the screen and you want to just reach out and grab something. So the first thing I did when I played that game was, okay, how far away are we from being able to use our hands?
Yeah.
So I looked up at some websites, and it's very close. PlayStation right now they're working on the VR2 system. The VR2 system will be able to you'll have gloves that can plug into the system, and you can use your hands with the gloves.
Oh,
it'll be able to track hands.
I'm super excited because I know that they've had a few tries at it. I'm super excited for a good Star Wars VR game.
So there is a Star Wars. So check this out.
So there's the Saber one, which looks like the music game.
That's lame.
Yeah, no thanks.
Yeah, no.
Then there's the Star Wars one where like I've seen a little bit of it. It doesn't.
Well, they have Rogue One where you fly an X-wing.
Okay, I haven't
and
seen
it's supposed
that
to be really cool. So check out what happened to me. So I got my VR headset for Christmas, and me being poor, I can't just go out and buy a bunch of games for it. So I went and took my old games, traded them in, and I was able to purchase the Batman VR game. So that was like my first purchased game. One of the games I traded in to get the Batman VR game was my Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Oh, dude.
Because it sucked.
No, it doesn't.
That game sucks.
It's a great game. You weren't playing the multiplayer. You can play that with your kid, too, on arcade mode.
My kid would just get all frustrated and throw the controller because you tried to teach him how to play it, and then he always thought he could play it. It's too hard for a 6-year-old.
My 5-year-old girl plays it,
it's
and
too hard
freaking wrecks
for
that game.
A 41-year-old man to play, too.
that game has been, honestly, it's become one of my favorite Star Wars games. They put a lot of hard work into it.
I'm super proud of you, but I thought it sucked, and I traded it in. Then I found out that if you have the disc, you can download the VR experience for free. So now I traded in my disc and lost out on my free experience of flying an X-Wing.
I told you not to do that.
I pretty much hate myself. I punched myself in the dick because of what I did. I was like, you stupid, and you punch your dick. And I was like, ow. I was on the ground. I was all out of breath, and I was like, I'm in so much pain. And I just kept punching my dick anyway.
You deserve it.
Because I deserved it.
Refreshing Coors Light.
Refreshing Coors Light pouring down my gullet.
Coors Light, give us money.
This Coors is for you. So the Batman VR headset, you see your hands in the Batman game, and then but you have to use your controller, which is super automatically you're like,
yeah,
I really wanted to use my
the
hands.
game.
Exactly. Then you find out you can't actually walk around in the VR. You have to go to a predetermined point, and it kind of warps you from point to point.
Yeah, that was lame.
Disappointing.
And it's funny because they're using the same graphics engine as all that as the Arkham games.
Exactly.
And I've been playing the Arkham games again recently, so I stepped right back into it and was like, oh, I got this.
You're right.
I'm about to whoop some ass, and you're like, oh, you just okay.
Yeah, that's why I call it more of an experience than a game, because you're kind of watching this thing. Now, I gotta say, as soon as the elevator starts taking you down into the Batcave, I went from 6 to midnight.
Right.
Yeah, and then it takes you down, and you start hearing the bats and the water and the waterfall. And you said, the first thing when you went down, you're like, holy fuck, there's the big penny.
Yeah, there's a big penny. The T-Rex is in there. They did a great job.
That's a big moment in my life, going down into the Batcave for the first time.
Yeah, that was cool.
Also, standing on a rooftop in Gotham, looking up into the sky and seeing the bat symbol in the sky is pretty freaking cool.
Although at first I was like, what are we, Gordon? Wait a second.
So it's like right there. It gives you this beautiful taste of what it could be, you know. And then your next thought is, all right, when do I get to fucking punch somebody in the face?
Immediately.
That's all you want to do. And you never get to punch somebody in the face in that game. And that's frustrating. That was hard to live with.
I was throwing batarangs at Penguin's face, but it wasn't doing
Yeah,
anything.
and it just does nothing.
That was very unsatisfying.
But I could see where if the technology, that was one of the first games that came out for VR. I can see where if they create a sequel and the technology gets a little bit better, if we can get some gloves where they can track our hands and we can fight, it could be really cool.
That could be neat.
Also, you get a sweet ass view of the Batmobile and the Batplane.
Yeah.
It's right there in front of you in all of its glory, but you don't get to drive it, which really sucks. Now, when you play London Heist, you get a very cool inside the car experience.
That was the best part of that game.
Where you look over and you can see the dude next to you. You can open the glove box and look inside of it. And you can literally hang out the window and fire at dudes driving by on motorcycles.
Yeah.
That's freaking cool.
That was the best. The aiming was a little wonky.
A little bit.
But for what it is, considering it was still the controller and the headset and everything, it was pretty cool.
Yeah. Now, if they could integrate that into a Batman game where you can be in the Batmobile and experience that, or the Batplane.
The Ben Affleck Batmobile where you just have 50 cals and you can murder people. But it's cool because it's the vehicle doing it.
Right. Right. As long as it's not Batman murdering people. But again, there were some really cool experiences like the scene when you're in the morgue and there's literally a body in front of you. You're in your living room and you're looking at a full-size body and then you scan it.
I was very aroused.
Yeah, the first thing you went for was to see if you could see his dick.
Obviously.
And you were disappointed. He's just built like a Ken doll.
Just wondering.
But you tried. You scanned his penile area to try to become... I don't know. I mean, if you saw his dick, would you have been happy?
Well, yeah.
Would you have felt fulfilled had you seen his dick?
If they would let me play with it in the game.
Well, that was another thing I noticed when you were playing London Heist, where you can see your gloved hand.
Yeah.
All you wanted to do with that gloved hand was masturbate with it.
Because those cutscenes where you can't do anything are fucking boring. I gotta be honest, you know? Like, when the dudes just talk, you fucking motherfucker, and they're like trying to put a story in front of you, and you're like, dude, I just kind of want to go back to shooting dudes in the van. Like, that'd be great.
Now,
if you could treat this more like a Peter Piper Chuck E. Cheese arcade game.
Are you one of those gamers that, like, the story starts playing and you just hit the button and skip the story and go straight to the game?
No, especially not my first time through, but for a game where, like, I knew that game was only, 10 minutes long, and it's not my game. I'm not super invested in it. I just kind of want to get to the good parts. And normally, no. I'm actually a very thorough gamer. I like to go through. I like to find all the secrets and, like, see how many things I can find in an area before I move on. Yeah. People get frustrated when if I ever have friends, like, watch me play games because they're just like, dude, you're still in that fucking cave. And I'm just like, yeah, dude, I'm fucking finding everything in here, and I got a whole bunch of loot and shit. Right. Yeah. I had to restrain myself during the robot game to not do that because I was like, he's probably like, he doesn't want to see me like explore every nook and cranny.
Yeah, you were going for like every coin, and like you found secrets that you probably shouldn't have even seen, but there again, like that. So I should let you play a couple levels of that. It's a different experience, you know. I kind of just gave you like a quick run through of the different. Like,
it's fun to figure this stuff out, like to do the problem solving of like, all right, what does this game require me to do in VR? Because there's so many possibilities. It's not just like, oh, I need to press X or O. It's like I need to find something in the world to interact with in a certain way.
Right. Including in that game, you get to like headbutt stuff.
I do like to headbutt things.
Yeah. So. And like it gets more immersive into that too than you saw. You just saw a couple of.
Yeah, give me the headbutt level.
Just like give you a little taste. Yeah.
Might hurt my neck though after a while.
Yeah, you were headbutting really hard, and it's. Hardness is not like a thing that you have to do in the game. Like you can do it real gentle and it breaks it, or you can do it real hard and it breaks it.
I was hoping at one point you were gonna walk in front of me and I would catch you with one right in the crotch.
Right, and that's what's funny is that you're doing this and you're immersed in the game. Meanwhile, it's bedtime for my family. And like my kids are like running behind you on the couch and right underneath you.
Right around on the couch during the shark thing did not help.
Right. Yeah.
I was like,
The shark thing really made you nervous. That was the first thing that we did was the shark encounter, and that's really just like you don't have any control.
That's
you just
exactly
sit back
what
and
I was
watch.
gonna say. Was like
It
I
happened.
couldn't do anything.
Right.
I couldn't like change it in any way. Like we played the London Ice game, and those guys got into a fight, and he threw the gun, and I grabbed the gun and I shot the guy. And
Right.
you were like, dude, he stabbed me when I did that. And I was like, I'm on top of this, man. But in the shark game, it's just like, the shark might fucking eat you out of nowhere. And I was just like, fuck that.
But how immersive is it that not only is that shark scary when you see it,
Yeah.
and this is another thing that people...
And you feel claustrophobic when you were going down the cave area where like the cage is banging back and forth on the wall. Like
Right, you
that
feel
felt
it, yeah.
claustrophobic. Like I was like having to remind myself, like, all right, breathe.
Yeah.
Breathe.
Yeah, you have to remember that, like, I'm on my couch.
When
I
it
am
went
safe.
dark, when that headlamp went out, yeah, it was like I'm on the couch. I'm
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, for sure. That was very immersive.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. It gets nerve-wracking and it gets scary. When the shark tears spoiler alert, the shark tears the front of the cage off and you're exposed, you feel fear.
I felt a cold breeze come through and was just like, whew,
It's so immersive.
I'm shark bait.
Exactly. That you actually feel like fear in that moment.
It definitely gave me not nausea, but like vertigo to look over the edge when you were like, hey, look out at the traffic in Gotham or look out over the edge of the cage. I was like,
yeah. Right. So that's the thing, is that while it's restrictive, it doesn't let you like walk in the area. You also have to understand that, like, for safety reasons,
yeah,
they can't let you walk in your living room blindly.
How many videos are on the internet of somebody just like running into their wall or taking
Right.
a dive into the breaking their own TV or something? Yeah,
It would be very easy to hurt yourself.
That's going to
or
be
mess up
VR's
your stuff.
limitation.
Exactly. So I understand where the technology right now is more advanced than what Sony has available, but they have to look at, can they make the technology affordable to have at home? Because yes, it would be awesome if you had a treadmill that you walked on and you could walk through stuff. That technology is available.
But just think, God, this thing was already what, $300?
Yeah.
On Black Friday, it was already version 1 is $300.
Yeah.
Version 2 is going to be $500, $600, $700.
Right.
And then now you're talking about a treadmill too, like.
Yeah. When you add the gloves to it, this is the thing, is that
I am already bitching about $60 games, man. I'm just
yeah, I mean, yeah, it's rough to get a $60 game. So you're looking at a $300 headset. It comes with the camera, it comes with the game. It doesn't come with the motion controllers. That is another thing that's supposed to make it even more immersive. Those are $99 for those little joystick guys. So that's like the next step. Then you talk about adding gloves to it. Yeah. Those are going to be pricey.
For sure.
And then the next step would be to actually have a treadmill where you could walk around side to side and give you total immersion. That's going to be, who knows. But they have the technology, because I saw it at Comic-Con. They have the treadmill where you walk and all that stuff.
I can't wait to see people eating shit off of that.
The other thing is that they have full body tracking. Their cameras have full body tracking. That's something that's very cool, but PlayStation can't do it yet. Make it affordable for the home, and they also don't have a way of making it safe yet.
Yeah.
So you watch, Ready Player One. Have you seen that?
No, but I have the book on my queue list.
The book is actually much better than the movie, I think.
Duh.
Which is rough, I'm not one of those guys that's like, the book's always better than the movie. I don't always think that, And it was Steven Spielberg. I can't even place what is fucked up about the movie, but there's just something that wasn't as good as the book. I don't know what it is. But anyway, that shows you VR where literally you put on like sunglasses, not a big, huge headset. And then you wear a full bodysuit. So if you get punched, you feel it.
Yeah.
And if some girl's sucking your dick, you feel it. Yeah.
Hey-o.
Yeah.
That's
why would you ever leave the house?
No wonder VR is progressing so fast. You just have all these computer nerds that are just like, gotta get a fucking blowjob anytime I want.
The first thing I did when I was looking at my VR stuff that you could use. I was literally looking at the instructions, and it was like, you can watch VR movies in full 3D. And then I was like, movies?
Porn?
And then all of a sudden it was like, and yes, you can watch porn in VR. Now, this is something that I haven't tried yet on my VR.
Bullshit.
I'm gonna try it.
Trying that night one, fucking day one with that headset.
I'm super curious to what that's gonna be, but apparently you can like download
We
it.
probably should have tried it before the podcast so we could,
Probably should have.
for science sake, go ahead and hit pause. We'll be right back, folks.
Oh,
VR porn is amazing.
VR porn really. Woo! I mean, Brian, I used your mouth, but it still feels perfect. When I'm looking at a chick, it doesn't really matter that it was your mouth.
It doesn't. Blowjob's a blowjob. It's genderless.
Exactly.
Mouth is a mouth.
So, like, I don't feel like we just did really gay stuff together. I feel like we VR'd the shit out of some chicks.
I hear you. I hear it's not gay if you got VR headset on.
That's right. Dang. Oh, I need a glass of milk with ice in it.
My post-coitus drink of choice.
Milk with ice. Goes down so smooth. So we haven't tried VR porn yet. We lied to you guys about that. That was a joke.
But you do have to wonder how much porn is driving technology. You notice
Porn
how
is 100% driving technology.
phones. Remember how phones were getting smaller and thinner and smaller and thinner, and then it was like we can watch porn on our phones. And it was like, man, these things are getting huge.
Yeah. Now you need like a backpack to hold your fucking phone on. Yeah, exactly. And porn does drive technology, and it always has. And that's what's going to make VR progress as far as like creating feelings.
That's
I have no doubt that within 5 years we will have a suck pump that goes on your dick while you're watching the headset.
Hands-free masturbation.
Hands-free masturbatory pornographic experiences.
And they're probably just going to be able to generate anybody you want.
That'll be the next thing. The first thing is going to be like they film it and you can like have an actress. The next thing will be you create an avatar for yourself and you create an avatar of the girl, the perfect girl.
What's gonna be better? Is it gonna be VR this, or is it gonna be like those sex robots that came out that are like the super realistic sex robots?
That's why they can't make robots realistic, is because we'll fuck them.
That's it's funny that like some of the first robots that are coming out are for fucking. It's like, I would love to have the butler around the house, that does the chores and stuff. It's like, no, we made the one to fuck first.
Exactly.
In Japan, of course.
Yeah.
These guys are like taking them out on dates and shit now.
Right.
It's like, take it down a couple inches.
Well, I think it was Bobby Lee who had like a stand-up set where he talked about like if the PlayStation had a fuckhole, then the human race would die out because no man would ever bother with a woman if his PlayStation had a fuckhole.
No, for sure. Once it gets to that point of like that movie WALL-E where you just sit in the chair and it's like going to be that immersive where you can just like jerk off in your chair and like have it do it for you and all that. It's like, we'll just population down.
Exactly. That's the problem with the fleshlight though, is that you have to clean it after you fuck it. So there's still like a responsibility. Like you get right to the end and you're like, should I stop jerking myself or should I come in it and then have to you later?
Right. And when you clean it, you're just full of shame.
Yeah.
Guilt.
Exactly.
Like,
like
just fucking jizz in this tooth again. Fuck. What am I doing with my life?
Holy shit. Brian. Your comedy goes down hard, Brian.
Yeah. No, that's,
No, but that's the truth. Like, you're 100% right. Like, everything's cool until you come. We've talked about this before. As soon as you come, reality sets in, and sometimes it's a reality that you don't want to accept.
Yeah, no, it's like, it's still like, you still got it on your fucking knuckles, and you're like, oh, well, what am I fucking doing? What is this on my phone? Oh,
if they create a self-cleaning machine, like you jizz into it, and then there's like jizz be gone on the inside.
Jizz be gone.
It just like turns into like a dust. And you kind of like knock it out like a vacuum, like a dust devil. You just bang it against your trash can and it cleans it all out.
Why not just like, it just gets bottled up and sent off to donors. Bottled up and sent off. And every time you jerk off, you get a nickel.
That would be good. But the problem with that
You'd
is
have a
that
bunch of young millionaires is what you'd have.
the problem with that, and you would have the same problem, is that our wives would be jealous of it. Because they don't want, like, our sperm going to other vaginas.
Or anywhere.
Or anywhere, yeah. Really, like I've seen my wife get jealous of the shower floor.
Right.
And it's not.
It's got a lot of sperm on it.
It has a lot of sperm on it, you know. Like I tell her, I'm like, you need to clean the hair out of the drain of the shower because it's gross.
Keeping my sperm from going down the tube.
Exactly. And so like I'm like, that's your hair in there. That's gross. And then I'm like, look at all that shampoo on your hair in there. Gross. But it's just dead babies.
Keep it together.
Brian, I think we stepped over the line of good taste. This was supposed to be about video games.
Ugh.
How did we get talking about all this yucky stuff about our showers?
Every fucking time.
It happens every time with you, man. Why?
You're welcome.
This isn't what the people came for. This is what the people want.
It's what they expected.
It's what they expected. It's what they deserve. All right, back on track. PlayStation VR. We've talked about the future of it. We've talked about where it is now. Tell us, so you have just experienced it. What do you feel about it? Like, what do you think about it? You don't even have a PlayStation. You are an Xbox guy. So coming from an Xbox lover like yourself, how do you feel about this?
I recognize that PlayStation's like the more advanced console for sure. I stay.
Whoa! What was that?
Yeah, no, I do.
Your Instagram is gonna get just beat up this week, dude.
That's okay. Well, if anyone would like to pay attention to it at all, that'd be great. No, I actually would have a PlayStation if it weren't for the Halo games. I enjoy the Halo games a lot, and I enjoy playing the Halo games online with my friends a lot.
Can you imagine Halo VR?
Halo VR would be fucking amazing. The Spider-Man game that only came out for PlayStation really makes me want to get a fucking PlayStation. That game looks amazing, and I'm a huge fan of Spider-Man games. I love the old ones that came out with the movies. You just got to fucking swing around New York City and do whatever you wanted.
Yeah.
They were amazing. To be honest, it was fun and it was immersive, but it was also a little disappointing at how limited it was. To basically go from like spot where you're either standing or sitting, you kind of watch things unfold around you, and then sometimes you get to take part.
Right.
The third person games were a little different, but because that controller's in your hand and you're fucking around with that guy the whole time, you do feel like you're playing a game. It's just a much more immersive and much different way to play the game with everything that's screen right in front of you,
right,
and 360 around you. I would really look forward to when we return to Comic-Con, trying out the treadmill one.
Yeah.
And trying something like where I have gloves on would be really neat. I am worried about the price tag. That's these consoles just by themselves, you know. PlayStation, just to get a PlayStation is $399 or $299.
Yeah.
So
they're talking about including the PlayStation version 2 VR with the PlayStation 5.
For how much?
But yeah, that's the thing.
For $1,000?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, you know.
$999.
Yeah.
Yeah, go fuck yourself.
Yeah. But I don't know. Would you pay $300 to have what the system that's out right now?
With a PlayStation and the system together?
Yeah, like let's just say you had a PlayStation already. Would you drop the $300? Basically, you're paying for 3 games.
No, to be honest, I would wait. I would wait until at least like the VR2 or the gloves came out, or I would look into one that I could use with my cell phone, so I wasn't so like tied to my living room with it.
You know, Xbox is kicking themselves in the taint because they didn't come up with the technology first, and they had the camera first.
I tried, and again, like I had the Xbox with the camera for a little while, and I tried their games, and they sucked.
Yeah,
They were all terrible. And then now the Xbox I have doesn't have the camera, which is fine with me because I don't want to connect on it at all.
Right.
I don't think I'd drop $300 for this type of VR. It's neat and everything.
Yeah.
But it's still, at the end of the day, it's still going to get beat by traditional video games until it can adapt and until it lets you control the character more, lets you control the environment more.
Right.
Right now, it's very passive.
Yeah. It's definitely something you want to go over to your friend's house and check out because your friend bought it.
Yeah, it's like I'll sit down and I'll play like Star Wars Battlefront.
Right.
Or I'll play the Arkham games, or I'll play a sports game or something, and I'll look over at the clock and I'm like, oh shit, that's been 2 hours. VR, I don't think I wouldn't like to do that as much.
The headset gets cumbersome after
It does get
after a while.
Give you a headache there.
I've noticed that like I get sweaty in my face really easy, and it fogs up the lenses.
What?
Yeah. I think because I'm a huge, fat, gluttonous pig.
Yeah.
Might have a little bit to do with that.
Just sweating right now.
That's just because I'm so close to you, Brian.
Ooh.
No, but yeah, there is a fogging problem if you are a sweaty beast like myself. But under normal circumstances, and I notice if I turn a fan on in the room, it really helps me not fog up the glasses.
The other part of that is there are times, especially like late at night, when I'm playing a video game, it's because I wanted to fucking relax and like put my feet up.
Right.
You know,
not
because I
VR
wanted to be
doesn't
like,
give you the ability to relax.
Yeah, like you're not gonna play a VR video and then go upstairs and go to bed.
Right.
Like your heart's racing, or like your eyes are blinded, or you have a headache. Like
it really does fuck with me before bed. Like I have to take it off for at least an hour before I go to bed because it fucks with your dreams too. You start seeing the world in a different way.
it could be good or bad. I like it when my dreams are all fucked up sometimes.
Yeah, it has affected my dreams, and also just like I've noticed, like when I watch my kids' cartoons, I'm like I can see the extra dimension in them now.
Yeah,
like I'm like that she is far away. Fucking Smurfette is really far away from that waterfall.
I gotta say, in the London heist, for that brief moment when he points the revolver right at your face,
yeah,
I was just like, ooh. I was like, that's a good angle to fucking get someone's heart going.
Yeah,
like, that could be used well.
Yeah, that's the thing is that like I'm almost more excited right now for the potential that it has than what it actually has available now.
I think I would agree with that statement.
I think that in a couple years, hopefully, I mean, the problem is that if the thing doesn't sell and the technology doesn't keep getting better, it's going to die a horrible death, and it's going to be a Dreamcast. It's going to be 100%. It's going to be the Game Boy, Virtual Game Boy. Remember that piece of shit?
Virtual Game Boy.
Virtual Game Boy was a Game Boy that was a big red headset that you looked into, and the games were actually red on the inside.
I do not remember that one.
They were not virtual at all. It was really lame.
Yeah. And
it died a horrible death. But it also never got a chance to be produced, really.
I think this one has, this version, they have enough steam to keep going, especially with VR incorporating the eye movement, like you said. And then now with cell phones, it's like you can make VR apps for a cell phone and have someone buy a headset with their phone.
Right.
That could get pretty immersive. I was supposed to get a VR headset with my phone. There was some rebate, but fucking mail-in rebates go.
Yeah.
So
my kid got this fucking game for Christmas that's a Iron Man thing, and you put your phone into the eye socket of the helmet, and then you put these little cardboard circles on the ground, and like fucking Thanos comes up to your kitchen floor, and you like shoot him with your blaster.
Okay.
It's pretty freaking cool, but it's not nearly as immersive as what the Sony VR can do. So I think that it's in its infancy, but I think that it's definitely cool. I'm definitely glad that I have it, and I hope that I just pray that like it doesn't not sell and it dies. Yeah. But I think that I don't know. I don't have the actual numbers on what it sold this Christmas, but I think that dropping it $100 really was a smart thing to do. And
they did the same thing for the PlayStation itself, and it was like $199 over that time, and I was really itching, but it's like, oh, it's the holidays, I gotta buy stuff for other people, my family, and
Well, and that's the other thing. So they came out with the PlayStation 4 Pro, and that was essentially to give you the extra power to run the VR better. Okay. But we watched it on my normal PlayStation, and I thought it ran really well. Like I didn't see any problems. There's no digitation whatsoever.
When are they coming out with the PlayStation 5? Are they even talking about it yet?
They're talking about it, yeah. And they're seriously like they have like the PlayStation 5 built. They're just trying to figure out how to now make it where they're trying to get it out to the game developers to get them to develop games for it so that they have some launch releases.
And so is Xbox coming out with anything to counter it?
Well, and that's what I was going to ask you is like, what do you think Xbox could do in the virtual reality market to beat PlayStation and what PlayStation has?
Well, they're just playing catch-up game, I think, right now. So anything they try, it's going to be like from the ground up, level 1, phase 1, whatever you call it. But they're probably going to have to get invested pretty soon if they want to stay relevant with it.
And it wasn't always like that. I would say that the Xbox One was like the cooler system to have than the PlayStation 4. Or is it? I might be screwing it up. Is the Xbox One the newest one?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So the Xbox One came out, and I think that like the cool hip system was the Xbox One. The PlayStation 4 was kind of like the been there, done that. But I think that the PlayStation 4 is starting to do more exciting things, and the Xbox is just kind of stalling out. It doesn't have as much original content, and like the big games like Red Dead Redemption are coming out for both systems.
Right.
So it's like Xbox needs to do something to try to kick PlayStation out again.
Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do, but if they don't catch up on VR, then PlayStation's going to run away with it.
An interesting side note is there's a book called Console Wars about Nintendo and Sega coming up together. PlayStation, Sony originally, the PlayStation was supposed to be a Sega product. Sony and Sega teamed up together because like Sony was like had to choose between Nintendo, who Nintendo wasn't playing nice with other developers. Sega was more like open to that, and so Sony wanted to team with Sega to come out with a new CD based system instead of a cartridge based system. So they were developing that with them, and then when it was supposed to come out, Sega literally fucked Sony over and came out with their Dreamcast.
I had a Dreamcast.
And tried to put that out.
Very
and then
similar.
PlayStation, Sony went off on their own. They didn't have anybody that could build the hardware. They had done all the software part of it, but they didn't have anybody for the hardware. So they actually started their own hardware department, created the Sony PlayStation, and blew the Dreamcast out of the water. The Dreamcast never became a thing.
Of course, that's the console my parents would get me.
Exactly, but at the time, Sega was like, at the time, like Nintendo was coming out with a new system. I think it was the GameCube, and then
I think it was
the GameCube was the
GameCube
first.
came out after 64, and that's when it had the little mini discs. But I thought it came out after Dreamcast and PlayStation and all that. But
I don't know. I thought it was that. Someone out there, there's like nerds out there that want to kill us right now.
Right.
But anyhow,
I had a friend with all these systems. I had a friend with a Sega. I had a friend with a PlayStation. I had a friend with a Nintendo, and I was just like,
yeah.
He'd be like, you want to hang out at your house? Like, no, I want to hang out at your house.
Well, and I remember trying to make the decision. You know, I had to make this decision between the GameCube, the Dreamcast, and the PlayStation. And I was like, not all of these are going to survive in this market. Which one is going to do it? And I picked a PlayStation. And lucky for me, I was on the money.
Good call.
Yeah, and I've stayed with
Although
PlayStation
I
ever
enjoy
since.
Nintendo as well. Like, I enjoy like Super Smash Brothers and Mario Kart and like all
The
that stuff.
Nintendo Switch is, I think,
cool.
brought Nintendo back into relevance.
Yeah, the Wii was kind of neat for a while, but the Wii gets old.
Yeah.
Like, playing tennis on the Wii, bowling with the Wii, the games on the Wii are okay. It's fun to do with your family for a little while, but then you realize, like, I hate my family and I don't want to be around them, so can you please get out of my living room?
That's really what I'm afraid of with this VR headset, is that it's going to be like the Wii. Like, it's going to come out, it's going to be really cool for a little while, and then people are going to be like, it's too much trouble. Okay, so where do you think Xbox has to go to, like, compete? Do you think Xbox should try to come up with a headset?
They have to do one or two things. They have to come up with something really innovative that is better than the headset, or lighter, or less cumbersome, or more immersive, or more interactive, or cheaper. Like, maybe it's half the price, and they come out with something similar. Or they have to totally ignore VR and just hope that it fucking Sony tries it and it dies, and that they can laugh at Sony when VR dies, and that they can invest in something else.
I think they should do the suck pump, because I think that would help. With
Whoever develops the ability to get the blowjob first out of VR porn is where I would like to put my money.
Exactly. And I think that, Sony still got this thing where, like, it's like making video games. I bet it's going to be the Rift or something that comes up with, like, the suck pump.
Yeah, I think it's going to be one that is involved with your phone, because phones are such not everyone's got a PlayStation to try this. Pretty much everyone's got a fucking phone.
But would you rather be sucked off by an iPhone or an Android?
Well, I have an Android. I have a Samsung.
So you want to be sucked off by an Android?
It's an open market, so I feel like I could get more sucking off than the.
I know, but I feel like the Android is being sucked off by a blonde, and the iPhone is going to be sucked off by a redhead.
I disagree.
Well, you're wrong.
I don't like the way Apple treats its users. They treat them like children.
That's what redheads do, not children.
What?
The redheads mistreat you, but they give you a better suck.
They're very restrictive. Apple hasn't come out with anything. It's just the iPhone 4, bigger and bigger and bigger. And fuck that. I don't know. It's the same thing. And
You said the iPhone 4? They're on the iPhone 10.
I know. It's just it's all the same thing, but it gets bigger, and they got rid of buttons, and now you can't use your headphones, and they're just like, we're being so innovative. Like, your headphones suck. You fucking took away the auxiliary port. You just got sued and had to fucking admit that you've killed the battery life on older models. Like, go fuck yourself. I'm sure Samsung does the same thing, but at least they're innovative. They come out with new shit first.
Like what?
The whole fingerprint unlock thing, Samsung had that for like a year. The waterproof thing, the no home button, all that shit comes out with Samsung first, and then Apple says they did it 6 months later, and everyone's like, holy shit, it's amazing.
Because it is amazing. Fuck you, Brian. I just believe you. I don't know if that's correct or not.
Just believe everything I say blindly and don't research it.
I pretty much just try to do that because it makes me happy.
Right.
When I research stuff and I find out that stuff I thought was wrong, it really upsets me. But if I don't research it and just believe the things that you say...
Ignorance is bliss.
Right. Like when you're like, look, when the back of my hand goes to the back of your neck, just go with the motion that happens.
Yeah.
And you bring me down into your area and you're like, it's like, I don't like that at all. I don't like where this is going. I immediately regret starting that joke. I don't like it at all. It brought back a lot of things that I didn't even know were there. Like
Forgot how strong that grip was.
Yeah, when you grabbed the back of my neck, like I really remember that time when you choked me out at work and like my legs went all weird, like bubblegummy.
You didn't tap.
And I couldn't fall down, but I couldn't stand up. It was really upsetting.
Now you know how it feels. Now you know you can fight through it.
I didn't feel like I was fighting through anything. I felt like I was having a hard time standing up, and I kind of just wanted to fall down.
That was good.
That's what being friends with you is like.
You're always on edge.
You're always a little bit on edge. You never know if you're going to be hurt or not. And you don't know if you'll be conscious from moment to moment.
Why does anybody hang out with me?
I don't know. I really don't know. But good times, though. Brian. Marry. Fuck. Kill.
How are we going to do this one?
Super Mario. Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh.
Or...
Okay, so there's Nintendo and Sega.
Crash Bandicoot.
I don't know who makes him.
The Sony is Crash Bandicoot.
Okay, all right. I fucking didn't play that one.
Mario
Mario
is Nintendo.
Right, I know that.
And Sonic the Hedgehog is Sega.
I got you.
So who are you going to marry, fuck, and kill?
I don't think there's any good choices here, as usual.
I think you have three great choices.
I'm going to kill Mario. Because for the most part, that character annoys me.
It's a Mario!
Yeah. Guess I'll fucking fuck Sonic.
I wouldn't. He's spiky.
And it's over quick. And then I'll marry Crash Bandicoot. And I guess I'll hang out with see the fox that can fly?
He's a bandicoot, you stupid shit.
I don't know.
Listen, Brian, if you don't take this seriously, then it doesn't matter to the world.
Give me 3 cartoon characters.
God damn it.
You didn't even give me 3, middle-aged men as actors. I mean, normally you don't give me any choices, but...
I gave you 3 really good choices and 3 system choices. How come Xbox doesn't have their own stupid fucking character?
Xbox was late to the game. Microsoft was late getting a fucking
The
console
more I
out.
realized, it just really sucks.
And that first one that came out, the Xbox, my brother had one. His almost was broken down. He gave it to me, and then he bought a new one. So I had this almost broken down Xbox that was at least as thick as a set of encyclopedias. The controller I could have beaten an home intruder to death with.
Yeah.
With that thing.
That controller is
It
ridiculous.
rumbled so violently that my dog chewed it up one night because he thought that it was hurting our legs. It was hurting our hands, and he just destroyed it one night. And was just okay. Then, the Xbox 360 was definitely like a huge improvement over that, but that was only their second console. And now it's the Xbox One.
Yeah.
So they're very late to the game. It's been cool to see what they could do with it. Although the Kinect sucked. But I really enjoy like the Halo games. And I don't have any complaints other than like PS4 seems to run better. It's faster. It's higher quality, and sometimes it gets some games that don't come out for Xbox that make me jealous.
I feel like we really broke it down, that the PlayStation is a better system. The VR is amazing. You've been rock hard all night. So it's
Guilty.
PlayStation or a Viagra are the only two things that keep you rock hard. That and like several bumps of cocaine and a Pepsi.
Mm-hmm.
But where do you go from here? So I guess in the end I didn't convince you to go out and buy a PlayStation 4 or a VR headset.
Sorry, those things are a little lower on my priority. Again, I'm a teacher. So talk to Doug Ducey about that.
I would like you to go to your school and preach the VR headset, because those kids have money.
Yeah, that'd be great. Just on a more serious note, I will say this is the least money I've ever made at every job except for one, which was the minimum wage job at the Sears warehouse.
That is really a sad thing.
And I definitely put in the most hours at this job.
We came here to have a good time.
Sorry.
And you just really brought it to some serious shit.
There, brought it back.
Thanks. You shit down my throat.
Support your teachers.
Support your teachers, everybody.
Support education.
Red for Ed. Motherfuckers. What is the red? Shouldn't it be green for Ed? Red makes me feel like you guys want our blood.
I didn't come up with that slogan, but I was proud to go on strike. That was fun.
Right. You got a few days off.
Yeah, I got to
Nice.
March. A few days off. They want to strike for like a week. I was like, we're in this for the long haul, because I'm a history teacher. Like I know how like successful strikes work. So you go on strike for a long ass time.
Well, it was strange that
they
they went on strike, and then they went back to work before the government fixed anything.
Right. There was a vague promise. Ducey never actually met with the Red for Ed people. He just refused to meet with them because that would have legitimized everything.
Right.
And I just thought that was such an asshole move that I didn't want to go back to work until he at least like had met with us and like heard our demands and like talked to us. But him and the legislature blew us off. And I was prepared, like, hey, fucking sit down, dude. Week 2, here we go. Like, fuck them.
Brian, this podcast is called Talking Poop.
Talking poop. We talk a lot of poop tonight.
It's not the time or the place for this. If you can figure out a way to get the teacher rights to be based off of a movie, a music, or media, then we could discuss this. But right now we're trying to talk about fun things.
Sorry.
Like our PlayStations.
Sorry, I guess what I'm getting at is there's no earthly way I could afford a PlayStation or a VR headset.
You know what, everybody? Support your teachers, because they're never going to have VR with this bullshit. They're going to keep having sex the old-fashioned way with the children that they teach.
Jesus. And cut.
And that is our episode.
And I'm fired.
Thank you for joining us. We've got a website coming out pretty soon. You guys are going to want to get on that. You can vote for Doug Ducey at dougducey.com.
Follow me on Instagram, Bryan Gunn Books. I got a short story compilation coming out January 31st. Available on Amazon Kindle for 99 cents. So
I will be buying
check it
that.
out.
I can afford that even on my truck driver salary.
Boom.
Bada boom. So check out Bryan Gunn's stuff. We got lots of fun stuff coming your way. Keep listening. Tell your friends. And Brian, leave us with some words of wisdom.
Don't eat the yellow snow.
That's good information. For me, I say, this has been Talking Poop. Don't forget to wash your hands.